Just a reminder that you got a cute butt. And I'm proud of you. I'm not proud of you for the cute butt, but good for you. But I'm proud of you. Are you listening? I'm proud of you!
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. Going to talk about Spider-Man 2 this week, and we're not going to go 2 hours. I can't promise anything. We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if there's going to be some crackling or weird noises accompanying me right now because I was having some weird stuff happening with my mic right before we started recording. We'll see. Could be a fun time. We'll find out.
You got a little bit of a hot mic. You're a little loud, a little tinny. The only crackling I want, Eric, is Cracklin' Oat Bran. You know what I'm saying?
I do because I've been trying to buy Cracklin' Oat Bran. It's been out of stock at my local Ralph's multiple times. So I'm trying to get that COB.
Eric, don't raise your voice like that. You have to keep it soft. You got to keep it soft. Yeah, please don't get excited at all during this podcast.
I'm a loud person naturally. So.
I know. So you gotta turn it down. Turn it down. Right. We just need regular human volume, not Eric volume.
Keep it chill.
This is gonna be fun. I might go 2 hours again. I don't know. We just have a lot of things. I'm not gonna put it on me. We have a lot of things to say about the Spider-Man, but let's start off with some other dorkerific news, which is what we usually do. Which is two trailers dropped this week.
They did.
One for TV and one for movie. Actually, I mean, more than this, but we're only going to talk about two.
Netflix puts out 20 trailers in a day, Matt.
Eric, you're already too loud and excited. You have to stop it.
Netflix puts out 20 trailers a day, all for shows debuting tomorrow that no one will watch, or they will watch, but it won't matter. No one will remember them, neither the people who watch them or the people that put them on.
That was so loud.
Jesus.
Right. I don't know. Well, all we can hope is that the people listening don't hear what I'm hearing just through this.
I think they might be. I don't know.
Whatever. You know what?
I asked if I should restart. Not against that.
Look, we're all doing our best here on earth.org. Okay. So let's talk about the first one, Morbius. Now, full disclosure, I have not seen Venom Let There Be Carnage. I just haven't been able to, even though it's a tight 90, haven't been able to fit it into my schedule. And so I had to actually spoil myself on the ending because Morbius is coming out and this is the full trailer.
Oh, Matt, you should have let me do it. I would have loved to have explained it to you.
I would have rather have gone to, I don't know where I landed, where Google placed me, Den of Geek, who knows where it was, but basically, Morbius, which was supposed to, at one point in our reality, in this timeline, come out before Venom Let There Be Carnage. It was supposed to come out at the beginning of this year, and it's now coming out at the beginning of next year. And it's all very and I know the ending of Venom Let There Be Carnage. I won't spoil it for people on this podcast, even though I spoil it for myself. We're still very much confused about the Sonyverse and the MCU. And the post-credit sequence sort of feeds into that, but also feeds into the confusion of that, especially with No Way Home now nestled in between Venom Let There Be Carnage and Morbius, with the idea, with Tom Holland himself calling No Way Home the end of a trilogy, which means we would possibly expect his Spider-Man to leave the MCU after this. Never say never, as far as these two companies are concerned, but to him go into the lesser verse with movies that aren't just quite as good. Not saying there can't be, the Venom movies aren't successful. They're just let's look. He's going from an A to A minus verse to a solid C plus verse, right? Are we saying?
I say it, but yes, both Venom movies have been quite successful. So there's definitely a big audience there for Venom.
All right, so Morbius is, and I made the joke on Twitter that Jared Leto, as a regular long-haired Jared Leto, looks more like a vampire, especially in his pale, frail form that you find Michael Morbius at the beginning of this trailer. Looks more like a vampire than just his batted out Morbius self. But there are two references to Venom in it. There's once again Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes. Got Oscorp Tower. We've got Daily Bugle operating as an actual paper with headlines that hint at Black Cat and Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's very much a where is this? When is this? What is happening element with Morbius? Because what Toomes is this? And it can't be the MCU because the Bugle is a paper. The Oscorp Tower is very much like the other two Sonyverse movies. But so it's just a lot in the air.
The Oscorp Tower looks like the Andrew Garfield movies logo.
Man, I think it's just that I don't feel like it's in logical, practical hands. I just feel like if it were part of the MCU and they were sort of like in charge of this, leading the charge with this this aspect of the multiverse, the Sonyverse, then I'll be like, okay, things have been plotted out, things have been laid out in a way that'll be pleasing and satisfying to fans. I have no confidence with that with Sony whatsoever.
Also, just like the first trailer, they show that poster of Spider-Man saying murderer, which seems very much where the MCU is at, except that it looks like Tobey Maguire's costume. So very convoluted. Just actually, Matt, to remind you, Morbius's original pre-pandemic release date was July 2020. Venom 2 would have opened that fall. Spider-Man No Way Home would have opened this previous summer. So Morbius would have come out originally a year before Spider-Man No Way Home instead of a month after. All of which is me saying, I know some people are like, well, maybe this is so weird and confusing, all these different things we're getting, all these references to basically every different Spider-Man universe in this, but maybe it'll all make sense after No Way Home. I don't think it will.
I have no confidence in Sony to do anything right with this property.
It's more so that maybe going forward, there'll be a little more of that. But Morbius was made, I think, before some decisions were made about the post-credit scene on Venom 2 and about certain things. And so I think Morbius probably was just like them putting in fun references to everything Spider-Man, which they can do, including the MCU Spider-Man to an extent, as long as they're not also bringing in other characters. So yeah, I don't expect it to have that much cohesion on that level. Now, Matt, I just do want to ask, what do you think? How do you think movie Morbius looks?
I mean, I think that movie looks good. Like from an actual appearance standpoint, Morbius looks good. The action looks good. The camera work, the images on screen look good. Whether or not it comes together in a movie that makes sense with dialogue that I enjoy and characters that I'm engaged with, I can't tell you. But the imagery looks good. I don't know how I feel about that Venom joke. I mean, the one where at the end where he's like, I'm Venom. How known is Venom in this world?
Right. It doesn't seem like he'd be that known, especially
Venom a household name?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
Already I don't have faith in Sony. Already they're dropping the ball and there's like 5 lines of dialogue in this trailer. I just think that I understand that Morbius, like, it wasn't meant to come out after Venom 2. Like, you're supposed to hit him with Venom, then you hit it with Morbius, right? Like, they're supposed to more line be paired closer to each other as sort of these villain movies. But now everything's all higgledy-piggledy and hinky and mixed up, upside down, black, topsy-turvy. And unlike the MCU reshoots for what they had to do to sort of like reshuffle their movies, mostly reshuffle their streaming series and like what gets revealed where. I don't know that Sony's done any of that. The Spider-Man murderer confuses me the most.
Right.
Because within that world, I'm not even talking about whether or not he's been framed or people think he's a murderer or the Bugles trash talked him and gotten the public against him. I'm just the fact that, like, what does Venom think of Spider-Man?
Right.
because that's something. Okay, I won't get into Let There Be Carnage, but like, what if Spider-Man actually does exist in this world? Is he just a meme? Is Spider-Man not even a real thing? Like in this universe, Spider-Man is just some like something from like 4chan. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know, because the whole point of Venom coming. Just the way they've done this makes me so angry.
Matt, you're a lot more wrapped up in that stuff than I am.
The whole point that Venom looks like Spider-Man is because he was a symbiote on top of Spider-Man.
I know.
Except that the Venom movie posits that Venoms just look like Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have the spider symbol. He just has the eyes. I don't know.
He looks like Carnage and Venom, the symbiotes look like Spider-Man.
Well, if there is no Spider-Man, then they just look like Venom.
Right, but there is, because he's on the wall.
In the Morbius movie, that's true.
In the Morbius movie, Venom's also like a household name. That
Morbius is its own 20th other dimension.
I hate all of this. I hate all of this so much.
Anyway, I think Morbius looks fine. As a movie that I'm not in no way was demanding. I thought this was a pretty decent trailer, and he looks cool, like the transformed like creature Morbius. So we'll see. I in no way.
We will see.
We'll see, won't we?
We will.
We're gonna go see this movie.
All right. Well, I don't know. I still haven't dragged my butt out of the house to see Venom yet. So we'll, maybe I'll just read the post-credit sequence online for Morbius 2. All right. Book of Boba Fett also released the trailer. Book of Boba Fett.
Wonder who wrote the Book of Boba Fett.
I need to say who wrote the Book of Fett. Yeah.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett. I'm medium excited about this series. I understand that Mandalorian is coming back, and this is set in that verse. It's just and I guess the argument can be made that Mandalorian also centered around a very stoic, closed-off character. But this is like pairing like Boba Fett and Fennec Shand together, two characters who you wouldn't say are like well-established as characters, as layered characters. And, this series one would hope it does this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just seems like two very straightforward, straight-laced, hard-edged, hard-assed bounty hunters doing hard-ass bounty hunters thing, with the twist that Boba Fett is now trying to actually lead or rule or take over Jabba's old territory and do things differently. I think mostly this trailer showed us a lot of cool like aliens that we hadn't seen in a while in the Star Wars verse.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like, we've seen, what are they? Twi'leks?
I never know if you're supposed to say it Twi'lek or Twi'lek, but yes,
Twi'lek,
I say Twi'lek.
Jennifer Beals actually plays a Twi'lek in Book of Fett. I realized it said Book of Fett, but it sounded like Book of Fett, which I'm saying Boba Fett wrong. And then there's Klatooinians and Aqualish and Trandoshans and
all my favorite dance moves
and Bomar monks, and this is the worst law firm ever, and Ithorians and maybe a Naboo guard. I don't know, but like, yeah, it looks cool. I don't have to worry about a multiverse here or Venom's looking like Spider-Man for no reason. And what do you think? What do you think of Book of Fett?
I'm excited for it, but this was an underwhelming trailer to me. It was fine. I love Mandalorian. Clearly, this is going to continue a lot of the I say aesthetic. I understand it's the Star Wars aesthetic, but there was sort of a feel, a vibe of Mandalorian that this is going to be trafficking in. It's a direct spinoff. I like these two lead actors. I agree with you. It's like, we don't know either of them deeply yet as characters. But yeah, the trailer was fine. It amused me that the end of the trailer is such a strange beat for a trailer to end on, which is him saying, "You may speak freely." Usually you end your trailer on like a oomph, like a pow. And this was just like, I'm open to hearing your ideas. Like it was, which I understand is going to seem to be like kind of like a storyline, like a plot thread of Boba Fett trying to like lead in a different way than Jabba. I just thought it was a strange way to end your first trailer. Also, Boba Fett was introduced in Empire Strikes Back with Darth Vader telling him no disintegrations. Like you said, Matt, we don't actually know a lot of, Boba Fett is famously a character who was very popular without doing much. He just looks so cool. So there's a lot of room to fill in there. And is this about a guy who used to love to disintegrate and now he's trying to listen to people more?
That's the arc. It's how he now shuns disintegration, and all of his old friends were like, "What happened to you?"
Right, he used to be the disintegrator.
He used to be the disintegrator, Boba Fett. And Fennec Shan's like you don't disintegrate like you used to.
Right.
But right now it looks like two cool people doing cool things all over a cool universe, just being like cool. Maybe some actiony stuff in between. It's kind of hit me the same way that the Mandalorian season 2 finale post-credit sequence hit me, where they introduced the Book of Boba Fett is coming, where everyone was like, "Whoa," and I was like, "Whoa," and then I was like, "Okay." After a few minutes went by, I was like, "Okay, do I want that? I guess."
I mean, I was definitely into that credit scene. I will say also that look, the Mandalorian itself, a lot of people surmise, there was supposed to be a Boba Fett movie at one point that was, one of the movies when Disney first acquired Lucasfilm, when they were developing a bunch of things, never officially announced, but it's been kind of reported a bunch that was going to happen. Was that the one that Josh Trank was going to do, maybe? And the theory is that Mandalorian kind of ended up happening instead, right? And now we're getting this Boba Fett show, which seems to really traffic in kind of the criminal underworld, which I think is a cool place to investigate of Star Wars more, and also makes me think about the fact that there was that Star Wars live action show that Lucas himself was developing for many years. He never got off the ground because they hadn't invented what's it called? Their whole system to to have the live projection behind them.
You mean that special studio they use?
Yeah, but because they could never make the Star Wars live action show because it would be too expensive, and there was 50 scripts written, and all the talk was that it was set in the criminal underworld, and eventually they said, it was going to be Boba Fett was going to be the main character. So I feel like this might be kind of like again, sort of granular pieces of that idea, are maybe in this show, and I like that in looking into that part of the Star Wars universe, because I always liked when the books and comics did that. So I'm certainly intrigued by that, but this trailer itself didn't make me ooh or ah particularly, but of course I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah, that virtual production studio that ILM sort of reinvented the way that movies are made, with that LED like virtual wall. That's where Eli Roth filmed Borderlands. So
it's gonna kill me
getting Borderlands in there. Okay, gonna kill you. What you thinking of something?
Oh, what's it called? I see the term stagecraft, which I remember is one of the terms, but there's another term that they also use it's bugging me. But
like for the actual place?
Yeah. We'll see. Stagecraft, maybe that's it, but I thought there was something
just think
else.
It's called stage.
Huh?
Stagecraft?
Yeah, that's what they say. That's
all
what
right,
they say. Word on the street.
Yeah, I guess I do see the value in also exploring this element of the Star Wars universe, because it's sort of untapped. So yeah, could be good. All right. Okay, so Chris Pratt. Actually, before we talk about all news Pratt, let's talk about very small other, not small, but just not as controversial casting decisions, which is that Daniel Day Kim, who will appear in our main event today in Spider-Man 2,
he will.
Was cast as Firelord Ozai in Netflix live action The Last Airbender series, and Gal Gadot has been cast as the Evil Queen in Disney's live action Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which, I don't know. That's interesting casting.
This was news I got broken to me by you putting it in the script. So that was exciting.
Well, did you know what it was? Because I just put Gal Gadot as Evil Queen.
I assumed, because I knew that they're making this live action version and that Rachel Zegler is playing Snow White, because I remember when that was announced. But who knows? I was like, are they reviving some Once Upon a Time on ABC? But I assumed it was the movie. That works. It'll be fun to see if Gal Gadot gets the. I guess she's gonna get some creepy old woman ugly makeup too.
Or they just give her like it's like the CW's Beauty and the Beast. They just give her a scar.
Right.
Across her face. It's like, oh, she's so hideous.
And
I've been hearing her name pronounced more as Gal Gadot, so I think I've just been slightly saying it wrong for years now.
Very possible. Myself,
it's not the worst. It's not the worst. But yeah, Gal Gadot, because The Rock says her name quite a bit. Well, because he does, The Rock does a ton of social media and promo work for his movies.
He certainly does. I'm going to try to go see Red Notice this weekend in the theater, since it's playing for a week in theaters. Not that you would know that. It's like a weird thing Netflix is doing.
That's how I saw it. That's why I went and saw Army of the Dead in the theater.
Yeah, same here. And you still haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? The animated series?
No, but both my two youngest kids love it.
I love it too. I think this is very cool casting. Mark Hamill voiced that character on the animated series, one of his many great villains. But of course, they're trying to be a little more racially conscious with the live action version this time. And I think Kim, who coincidentally was on one episode of the animated series, has a different character, will be really fun in it. So I like that casting a lot, as much as I'm also like skeptical of this show, but want it to be good. So I endorse that.
All right, let's live in a world for a second, Eric, where it was not announced that Chris Pratt was playing Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that didn't happen. Maybe it will happen, but it hasn't happened yet. So we have not heard and then the news breaks that Chris Pratt is voicing Garfield.
Right.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, no one, like, maybe some people would hem and haw about it and there'd be a minor tizzy just because, when it comes to Chris Pratt, people just rail against him. As the lesser Chris, or the least Chris of all the Chris's,
right?
But I could hear his voice in being Garfield. He sounds a little Garfieldy. He's got great comic delivery in animated movies and in live action. Like, him being Garfield is fine. I mean, unless it breaks that he loves Mondays and like hates lasagna, like, he's perfect.
I don't think he's perfect, but I also don't care.
He's as perfect as Bill Murray.
Right. I will say, yeah. I will, and to your point, Matt, yes. If he had not been announced as Mario first, it would have been like, whatever, another star voicing something in animation.
But I'm saying, like, okay, so the original voice that we all hear in our head is Lorenzo Music.
Yes. Who
was Carlton the Doorman on Rhoda, which none of the people listening to this podcast ever saw.
Right.
Just as a voice through an intercom. But then, famously, and here's the Bill Murray tie-in,
yes,
did the Peter Venkman voice on the Ghostbusters animated series, because there's a similarity with Bill Murray. So it was interesting when Bill Murray voiced Garfield, because first Lorenzo Music replaced Bill Murray, then Bill Murray replaced Lorenzo Music. But now, Chris Pratt is going to do his own thing, and he sort of has a sleepy voice, and I can see him doing it. But yeah, the Mario thing was so upsetting to so many people because it is ridiculous, and like we talked about, it does feel like itself is a parody, like you would see on 30 Rock or something that skewers, some satire of Hollywood, where someone announces a project in the background on a TV screen, and it's Chris Pratt is playing Mario, and that's what it sounds like. But now, because this came right afterwards,
so close to it, yeah,
it's just now everyone's making the jokes that he's going to voice everything and anything that's, especially things that are inappropriate to Chris Pratt. And but I'm just saying that it's only upsetting because of the Mario thing.
No, I 100% agree. It was just bizarre because it was like, Chris Pratt is voicing Mario, and then like 3 weeks later, Chris Pratt is voicing Garfield. So it seemed, and I think I tweeted, it feels like Chris Pratt is trolling people, and I love it, like, just because that feels funny to me. Because I talked about with Mario, like, it amused me how angry it got people, and this even more so because second week in a row, I'm gonna reference the same person, but in a totally different context, which is Patrick Willems, who last week I recommended or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, his article about the Matrix 3 weeks ago. So it's not 2 weeks in a row at all. Never mind anything I'm saying. But he had a tweet that I retweeted, which was, why is everyone so mad about a Garfield movie they're not going to see? Like, none of us are going to see. which is like, exactly. I didn't see the two that Bill Murray did. Like, and by the way, I grew up loving Bill Murray. I'm sorry, I did love growing up. I grew up loving Garfield, had like 10 of the collections. And then, like most people, when I got older, was like, that was kind of a lame comic where they repeated the same jokes over and over again. Didn't see those movies and probably won't see this version. And so famous person voicing a cartoon character doesn't really mean anything to me. It just is very funny on top of the Mario thing.
Lame comic where they repeat the same joke over and over again. How dare you? How dare you?
Okay, they had 3 jokes. They had like 3 jokes.
Okay, first of all, he hates Mondays. 1 joke. Loves lasagna. 2 jokes. He's fat.
Yes.
3 jokes. Torments Odie. 4 jokes. Hates normal.
Okay.
5 jokes. Eric, I could go on and on and on.
Makes fun of John. Okay, you're right. Pushes Odie off the table.
Super lazy. It's like joke
He's
number
very
8.
lazy. Did we mention he hates Mondays?
I did. That was the first.
No, I know you did.
because it's the most important. So I feel like I love Garfield too. I remember buying Garfield books at Eeyores, which is the children's bookshop on the Upper West Side that the Meg Ryan's bookshop and You've Got Mail was based on. And Barnes & Noble opened across the street, put them out of business. That's the whole plot of that movie.
But it wasn't as charming.
Was my childhood bookstore going under because of Barnes & Noble. Fortunately, by the time that happened, I was like in middle school and I'd grown out of that store. But that's where I got all my Choose Your Own Adventures, Eric. That's where I got my Mr. books. Remember the Mr. books? No. Mr. Happy, Mr. This, Mr. That. You didn't
what? Mr. Happy. No kid should be getting anything called Mr. Happy.
What about Mr. Grumpy? What about Mr. Wiggle?
No.
Mr. Wiggle.
I do not endorse this.
But there were Mr. books and there were Little Miss books. So there was Little Miss Sunshine, Little Miss. Okay, never mind. I got my Interplanetary Spy books there, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, Garfield is
Garfield.
Is newspaper comics royalty.
Yes. Well, he's certainly made Jim Davis a lot of money. So.
I grew up loving Garfield and I grew up loving Bill Murray, and I haven't seen them combine. Actually, I'm lying because I saw the first movie because of my kids. So here's the thing, and not to spend too much time on this, but too late. Like you said, with the guy who tweeted, why do we care so much about someone voicing a creature in a movie we're not going to see? My kids grew up watching animated movies post voice actors, Eric. Like
right.
All of their animated movies, everything I ever had to see. Some I would say 30% were enjoyable. The rest were just dregs that parents have to sit through. Everything is a celebrity voice, and it doesn't matter. And Wanda Sykes is in all of them.
Sure, again.
I shit you not. Okay, moving on.
Did you rewatch the MTV Awards Matrix parody?
I rewatched most of it. I fast forwarded through it
because the part that makes me laugh the most is when Wanda Sykes gets Justin Timberlake to do the robot to start dancing, and she's trying to get Neo to get up and dance with him, and Justin Timberlake goes, "You could do the robot with JT." It makes me laugh a lot. It's very funny. Also, I just because it's a stupid thing no one cares about, but in case there's anyone out there saying, "What do you mean Lorenzo Music voiced Venkman on the Real Ghostbusters?" That was Dave Coulier. Everyone's right, because Lorenzo Music was
Coulier replaced
1 and 2, and then Coulier came in season 3 on.
It's kind of like how Billy Connolly replaced Howard Hessman on Head of the Class.
That's exactly what it's like.
First he was head of the class, and then he was head of the class.
That's actually not the same thing because they played totally different characters.
So but they were both heads of the classes. And then Billy Connolly got a spinoff from that called Billy, and none of them were successful. Anyway. Okay. You can reach us on the Twitter machine at the Matt Fowler and the Eric Goldman. The podcast is at the We Enjoy Podcast. You can email us at weenjoypodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us over on Patreon, which you can join. And for a small fee, you can get an ad-free version of this podcast. You can also tweet at us. And in fact, all of our messages tonight come from those three avenues of communication, Eric. The first of which is, I'm just going to get this out of the way because it means nothing to me, but everything to you. Kermit tweeted just a few hours ago, wanted to ask your opinion, Eric, of the current season of Survivor. Kermit thinks it's too fast, the episodes aren't long enough, and 29 days is too short. And I'm assuming he means the Sandra Bullock movie. I don't know what's happening. So
they're usually there for a longer amount of time because of COVID. They made it shorter because they, of course, had to factor into their schedule all the quarantine time. I don't have some of the specific complaints. The other Kermit about 29 days. I don't mind. I don't know about it being too fast. I do think that there's too many gimmicks this season. There's too many special, like, hidden things and advantages and idols. That's been a problem that's been getting there anyway. But this season seems a little over the top with how much stuff people can collect. I like it in moderation, but I'm still enjoying the season. And I don't know if you'd seen tonight's episode when you tweeted this, but it was a very exciting episode tonight. Lots of twists and turns. So I'm still...
Great stuff, Pee-wee. Action-packed.
It's not one of my favorite seasons currently, but I am still enjoying it.
Well, that was all white noise to me. I have no idea what was going on. I blacked out. I lost time. But I'm back. Joey writes in on Patreon. First, I was listening to last week's episode today, and I think it would be cool if you threw in some comedies from time to time. We put that question out last week. If people felt like... we could successfully talk about a comedy between the two of us.
Like if we did Airplane, would it just be repeating a joke? It's another funny part.
Well, that's my fear is that we're like, and that was awesome because there are even parts of the stuff, like even tonight, like when we do Spider-Man 2, we're just gonna be like, and then the fight happens, and that was so cool. But then Joey says maybe you could do the Ghostbusters franchise since the sequel is coming out. Well, Joey, that sounds great, but the sequel is coming out way too soon.
Yeah.
It's coming out, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, and we're busy with another Sony franchise. So
no, we will not be able to do Ghostbusters. Even though it's 2 movies, we could do the reboot if we wanted to before Afterlife, sadly. But so then Joey also wrote...
But I think we can visit those movies at some point.
Yeah, for Afterlife 2.
Beyond Afterlife.
Electric Slimerloo. Wait, what's the new stupid ghost called? I can't remember. Muncher. Electric
Muncher. I've seen that movie, and you should not call Muncher stupid.
Muncher will make you sob.
He's highly intelligent.
It's just more than the last 40 minutes of Endgame.
You will believe a ghost can munch.
Oh no, is he part of the Law and Order universe?
It could be. Dick Wolf got to get paid.
The Munchverse. Let's see. Well, Munch was on Sesame Street, right?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Munch has been on everything.
Okay. Joey wants to know what our thoughts on The Eternals being the lowest rated movie, MCU movie ever on Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, it is scored rotten. Is it more rotten than Hulk, Eric?
It's the only movie that's rotten. That's
so even Hulk, which isn't like a Marvel Studios film per se.
And well, Incredible Hulk, you mean, or Hulk Ang Lee?
No, I don't mean Ang Lee. I mean the one that's actually in the MCU,
which is Marvel Studios. But no, that's not rotten. Neither is Thor: The Dark World.
Okay. Well, Joey writes, surely it can't be worse than Thor 2. Can anything be worse than Thor 2? Well, I don't think Thor 2 is terrible. I think Thor 2 is a lesser movie than most of the MCU, but I don't dislike Thor 2. I find value in Thor 2. And retroactively, they made Thor 2 very important, which is something that the MCU does to my delight, which is when it makes sort of throwaway things retroactively integral to everything. I
mean, you haven't seen Eternals yet, right?
I'm seeing it tomorrow night.
Okay. And then, hey, I'll ask you live as we're recording. Let's record our spoiler cast this weekend for Eternals. Because Because I think I don't want to say because Matt hasn't seen it and I've seen it. I certainly have some thoughts on those reviews. You can check out my review if you want on Fandom's YouTube channel. Yeah, I think Matt and I will talk, of course, about what we thought of the movie when we do our spoiler cast, but we'll also talk about those reviews. And yeah.
I don't know what the specific negative thoughts are. I haven't read any reviews. I've been shying away from all of it. And it does sort of, all I do, Eric, is dread the discourse. I would dread the discourse about it possibly like not living up to box office expectations. I dread the discourse from like Snyder fans being like, oh, look, it's the MCU can just be as shitty as a DC movie. Like,
welcome to the sub.
Welcome to the world of awful. And as I've said on the podcast, this is a movie that the trailers haven't wowed me with. Right. I've been sort of blasé about it. And that is not to say...
And me too, not as much as you, but me too, by the way. Yeah.
That is not to say, though, Eric, it's not going to get 2 tickets. I will see this movie at least twice. Anyway, sure. It doesn't matter. Right. I'm a mark for the brand. I'm just saying that it bums me out. I'm pre-bummed by the possible discourse to follow after this weekend. But... this is why, like, and the MCU has taken some big swings. It was just going to space in the first place with its first properties with Thor and then with Guardians was a big swing. And then going into Doctor Strange was a big swing. So this isn't anywhere we haven't been before. I'm afraid if it doesn't succeed, it will close off a few possible avenues in the future that they may have reached out to within the comics and the Marvel Universe. Like maybe there won't be an Eternals 2, and it would be the first one since Hulk that hasn't really gotten a sequel, and Black Widow is its own thing, so it doesn't count. But like,
right.
But this is why it was so smart also post Endgame and going into this phase 4 for the streaming shows to happen, because this discourse won't get a lot of chatter because in a few weeks Hawkeye's dropping, and then Spider-Man, and so like this will get under rug swept very quickly if need be.
Right. And anyone, the only thing I'll say is that, people like to make a proclamation about Marvel Studios and where they are right now. And then a month later, there's something else that usually upends what they just said, or certainly makes it very hard to say that exact same thing. So yeah, this, especially right now, like you mentioned, it's like these 3 things are coming out so close together, Eternals, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man No Way Home, that Eternals will be, for better or worse, in the rearview mirror very quickly, more than it normally will.
It'll be like a Netflix movie.
Right.
Okay. David, Dan, and Jeff, I'm going to give the abridged versions of your message because you wrote some long ass shit, and I trying not to do a 2-hour podcast, but we'll see what happens. Very quickly, David just wrote in via the Gmail, that, hey, greetings, Mattitude Eric. I was very excited to hear you guys were doing the Spider-Man movies. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I remember when they announced the first movie, I was so excited. I remember seeing the teaser trailer when I saw Jurassic Park 3, by the way, best part of that movie. And I knew it was finally happening. Seeing the movie was a dream come true for a huge fan. David, I actually kind of like Jurassic Park 3, but we will do that when we eventually do Jurassic Park. So I'll talk about it.
Sure.
Then David continues, before the second one came out, I read the novelization of the movie and then learned never to do that again. When I saw the movie, I basically knew everything that was going to happen, but I still loved it. Have you guys seen the Spider-Man 2.1 edition? I will include the picture of my DVD copy of it. And he did an email. When number 3 came out, I loved it and saw it in the theaters 3 times. In retrospect, it wasn't the best.
We've all been there.
I don't know, people who saw it and actually loved it. So that's the first time I think I am hearing that within my actual circle of people telling me things. So, all right. Thanks for taking the time to read my long email, David. Dan says, thanks for the great podcast. I live in Calgary, Alberta, which you will, of course, know from the Hart family connection, but it also happens to be where our beloved Black Summer was shot. I do wish, Eric, this is me now, that I had gotten to recommend Black Summer during spooky season, but I did it when Basically,
That's okay.
Second season came out.
We're going to recommend horror all the time. It's
Eric,
okay.
it's so good. Eric, this email reminded me once again how great that show is. There have been increasingly more great shows and movies being filmed in Calgary and the surrounding smaller cities and rural areas, including Fargo, The Revenant, and The Last of Us, which is just wrapping now. Skipping here, Dan, to the end, where he asks us, being that you've both lived in places like New York and LA, which are settings to countless movies and shows, is there a particular setting or area that stands out to you as being especially surreal to see in a movie or show?
Well, first I want to go back. Was this all Dan? Was the Spider-Man 2.1?
Okay, David was the Spider-Man 2.1.
Because I wanted to answer that first, which is to say, when I went to watch Spider-Man 2 this week, I have a digital copy of it with all the extras on my Apple TV, and Spider-Man 2.1 was listed as an option. I could have watched it, and at first I thought, I've never watched the longer version, and then I thought, I think I did like 15 years ago. I think maybe once I did. So my answer is yes, I think I might have a long time ago, but I don't even remember what the specifics are. The surreal thing, look, living in LA, you are so used.
Okay, so you and me, Eric, we both lived in New York and Los Angeles, where most movies, I wouldn't say that the movies that take place there are shot there, but most movies take place
right
in New York or Los Angeles. Like these are not unexplored cities. Like
right.
Every cop movie is either New York or LA. Obviously there are exceptions, but for the most part, these are well traversed, explored cities.
Yeah, and so I'm very used to seeing a million places I'm familiar with in movies and TV shows. As a Valley boy, I'm always happy when they do stuff in the Valley. It was exciting when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had stuff that they shot at Casa Vega, which is a Mexican restaurant I've been going to my whole life. And then Mythic Quest shot 2 episodes at Casa Vega. So that was fun. And then the thing I will mention being a little surreal because it's so, it could have been anywhere. It's so innocuous, and yet it became integral to a show I loved, is the pit on Parks and Rec, which is such a big part of the first couple seasons. I lived 2 minutes from the pit. Which was just a vacant lot that eventually they built another condo or apartment building at. But for a long time was just a vacant lot that I would pass every morning.
Did you visit Andy when he was living in the pit?
I did not visit Andy.
Did you see him fall into the pit?
I did not see him fall into the pit, but I did see the tribute to little Sebastian. I got spoiled on that. There was some once in a while I would drive by and they'd be like doing something like that, and I'd kind of get some spoilers. So that was, I guess, if you want to say surreal, only because of course it's always going to be fun to be like, hey, that's a restaurant I go to, but it's pretty normal in LA for that to happen. But picking just an empty lot that could have been any empty lot, but happened to be one I could walk to, that was funny. On a show I loved and watched all the time.
I already mentioned the Power Pack connection from comic books, which always thrilled me to no end as a youngling. But here's an interesting thing: a lot of things are shot in New York. A lot of things are just streets of New York, and like it's not it's completely commonplace. But I will say, Die Hard with a Vengeance. The plot of that movie revolved around John McClane having to go to very specific streets and specific avenues. And when they said they were at one of them, they were at that place. And so when Simon's like, be at the subway stop at 72nd and Broadway, that's where they were. So I enjoyed that about that movie, is that it actually used geography and wasn't just like, be on Main Street in Flag or something, like some made up corner, and then they were on a set or something like that. No, they painstakingly filmed all of that on locations exactly where the script said that they were going to be. And that was just, I like that because it was hyper specific. And all right. And then Jeff Solomon wrote in about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Now, included in this, and I encourage you, Eric, to go to the email inbox so you can read the thing itself. I'm not going to read this whole thing, Jeff, that you included, but Jeff writes, hey, Magnitude Eric, after you brought up the Spider-Man musical, I wanted to chime in as I saw the original version before it was retooled, though I have heard from others, and now Eric, that it was improved on later. I worked at Marvel the summer before seeing the musical, so this is an email I sent my boss at Marvel after I went to the Broadway show. It is the most complete recollection I have. It is long. So to summarize, it was a mess. Ignored all known Spider-Man lore, and Turn Off the Dark this is what I was wondering, Eric. Turn Off the Dark was a reference to Peter's fear of the dark as a child and how he would ask for the nightlight to be turned on. I removed my boss's name, but the rest is intact. So he has a basically yesteryear Jeff's thoughts on Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, his rant, his manifesto against detailing everything that was horrible and wrong about this musical that he saw. The ones that stick out in my mind from remembering reading this, Jeff, are that I didn't know that U2 only wrote one of the many songs because it was very much advertised music.
Oh, I thought they wrote all of them. Is that right? It said
music by Bono and the Edge, and it's one song, and everything else is written by someone else.
Oh, weird.
And I'd forgotten, I think, that Julie Taymor directed it.
That I remembered. Yeah.
Okay. And that I didn't know that the Sinister Six included Carnage, Swarm, Electro Lizard, Swiss Miss,
yes,
and Kraven, who Jeff actually did think looked cool. Okay.
Well, yeah, you should look up how they looked. It was kind of crazy looking because they all had kind of character heads, like, so you didn't see like a human head on Kraven. And you should read the full plot description, especially, well, read both, but the pre-retooling, the version Jeff saw, because it's madness.
It sounds really like, just reading it, I know I would be as mad as I was thinking about Sony's handling of the multiverse.
Yeah, Julie Taymor directed it. And it's funny, I very recently stumbled upon an old, I don't remember how I ended up at it, but an old IGN article that was specifically talking about Evan Rachel Wood was going to play Mary Jane, which didn't end up happening, but she had done Across Universe with Julie Taymor, so it was supposed to be a reunion, but Evan Rachel Wood dodged a bullet on that one, so good for her.
For those who don't know Julie Taymor, she's a big time Broadway or musical director who sort of launched into stardom because of her adaptation of Lion King from the late 90s.
Yeah, and she's visually stunning, and The Lion King is such a fantastic, way of pulling off what everyone thought at the time, like, oh, that'll be really stupid, and then it's like such a cool artistic feat. And her movie Titus with Anthony Hopkins is really cool looking.
The movie. That's the movie that afterwards Anthony Hopkins said he was quitting acting because it was so intense.
Right.
He lied, by the way, but yeah,
he did. And then, Across Universe I like more than some people, but anyway, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is a big whiff that sometimes very creative people do. And that was the one for her.
All right, let's get into our good things to enjoy. Next week's main event, as you may have assumed, is Spider-Man 3. Sorry. But yeah, look, let's complete this particular Peter Parker arc.
And it'll be interesting because this is not like Matrix Revolutions where I only saw it once in the theater. I've seen Spider-Man 3 a few times, but certainly far less than the first two. I am.
Oh, for sure, because like you enjoyed the first two, if not loved, and not so much with Spider-Man 3. Okay, and that is available for rent or through like a DirecTV subscription, and that'll get you access to the Turner apps like TNT or TBS or truTV. All right. Not Spider-Man 2 yet. Good things to enjoy. Let's try to. I'm going to get through mine real quickly, so I'll go first because I'm trying to thin the herd here. But let's see. Okay, with The French Dispatch hitting theaters, I wanted to recommend a movie that many of our listeners, I think, will have seen. And so this is kind of a little bit of a basic bitch recommendation here. I don't think it's an under the radar film at all, though it's not like a Michael Bay joint or anything like that. This is Wes Anderson's third movie called The Royal Tenenbaums, which is I think it was the last movie he co-wrote with Owen Wilson, who co-wrote the first three movies they did together. So that's Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and then Royal Tenenbaums. And look, I don't begrudge anyone their fandoms of the things they enjoy. I never, ever will. But for me, I didn't like Weezer post Pinkerton, which was their second album. I thought the Blue Album and Pinkerton were great. And not only did they think they were great, I thought it was like a build, right? I thought it was like Blue Album's good, Pinkerton's great. Like it's it's the escalation you want. And then when they didn't escalate after that, when they didn't keep like impressing me, because Eric, I heard Beverly Hills and I didn't like it. And I was like, I think I'm done with Weezer. And then I'm just saying I was like that with Everclear too, because I didn't like Santa Monica. I liked Everclear's first album quite a bit. Then I didn't like their radio hit. It happens. Look,
although I know we've had the conversation before about Weezer. Although Pinkerton is to absolutely their peak, I still stand by the Green Album, and I really like Cash Pipe and that era. Versus after Green Album, I didn't really like it much of it. They did.
I say all this to communicate that I feel the same way about Wes Anderson. Now I know there are people who really like Life Aquatic and Darjeeling Limited and some of the movies he's made since. For me, nothing beats. I'm just talking out my mouth and a little bit out of my ass here. Nothing beats the Bottle Rocket Rushmore Tenenbaums build. And to me, the best movie he's ever made is Royal Tenenbaums. And it's just the apex, the absolute culmination of all of his best qualities put together in a film, in that his foreign film influence mixed with his sort of rated R storybook quality. Everything feels like a sort of a surreal fable with the narration, Alec Baldwin's narration. And I have, everyone goes to Morgan Freeman as the one they say they want to narrate their life story. Alec Baldwin is an amazing narrator, adds a lot to this movie. It is the story of three, let's say, how would you say this? It's a dysfunctional family where the three kids were gifted in their youth and have sort of grown up into mediocre adulthood. And their father is estranged after leaving them and divorcing their mother when they were teenagers. Their father, played by Gene Hackman, now is trying to get back in good with the family. And he does so by faking a terminal illness. And the kids are played by Gwyneth Paltrow, Ben Stiller, and Luke Wilson. Owen Wilson has a supporting role. And I think it is delightful. It makes me cry. I think it's visually stunning. And to me, it's the best thing he's pulled off in his Wes Anderson-ness.
Rushmore is my favorite of his, but I also love Tenenbaums. So in the interest of brevity, which we are not in general doing, I agree with this endorsement.
It's also the thing where it's like you also pick one of his early works, right? So like as his favorite thing. So it's sort of the thing where it's like he's never surpassed. Maybe tied in some people's minds, but I don't think surpassed. Okay. What is your good thing? Oh, and it's not streamy anywhere, only renty. So sorry. But a lot of people out there who've seen it probably oni this movie already. So all right, Eric, what is your good thing to enjoy?
Mine is one that I saw a couple hours ago, and second week in a row, I'm doing one that's in theaters now. But it was a big bomb when it opened 2 weeks ago, so it probably won't be in theaters long. You probably get to watch it at home very soon, which is The Last Duel, which I literally just saw tonight. Ridley Scott's new movie, which, on one hand, I'm like, you probably know what it's about, but maybe you don't because no one went to see it. And I don't know how well promoted it was.
Well, unless you haven't seen it, because the trailer does give you the story a little bit, unlike a lot of trailers these days. But yeah, so it always looked interesting to me, but
it's Ridley Scott's new movie. Who first of all, the fact that Ridley Scott is 83 and just freaking pumping out movies. He's got
two movies opening in a month. Yeah,
right. Two Ridley Scott, Adam Driver team ups coming at you. And I have a feeling House of Gucci will do better than this one. But this one, if you haven't seen the trailer, my brief synopsis is that it is a period piece based on a true story of something that happened in the 1300s, where basically you had these two guys who had been friends and comrades in arms, who had a falling out and kind of a rivalry growing between them. And then one of them is accused of rape by the wife of the other. And we've got Matt Damon and Jodie Comer playing the husband and wife. Adam Driver has the friend turned rival. And Ben Affleck is in it too in a supporting role. And I thought it was great. It's doing what everyone will always call Rashomon style, which is we're getting different perspectives on the same story.
Oh, so I didn't know I did that.
Yeah. So it's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and it's like the different perspectives of the three main characters on what happened. Once in a while you see the same scene again with slight differences. Other times you see brand new scenes because we follow a different person, what they were doing at that same time. I thought it was excellent. I thought, was
there the moment where Marty McFly is crawling along the ceiling while he's playing guitar?
There was not that. First of all, this is a pretty heavy movie, as you might guess by the subject matter. Although, it is not, it's an entertaining movie as well, because Ridley Scott is a very great filmmaker.
So does Adam Driver not say duels?
Not that I remember. But it's Ridley Scott, who is to me hit or miss, but God, he still delivers some great stuff. Certainly in recent years with like The Martian, also I'm a Prometheus apologist. No, I'm just a fan, not an apologist.
I like Prometheus, and The Martian was great.
Yeah, and it was great. So he, kudos to him. Also, this is interestingly, unless I'm forgetting something, this is the first movie written by Affleck and Damon since Good Will Hunting. They wrote it with Nicole Holofcener. I'm probably not saying your last name right. But I thought it was cool to see them writing this. I forgot. I knew going in. I knew that, but I forgot it. So when I saw,
and once again, the movie that comes from the script is like Affleck is Damon's a star and Affleck's a supporting character. I feel like they should have led with that maybe a little more, because Damon and Affleck, and to some extent Driver, starring in a 12th century movie as French kings and noblemen.
Right.
Sounds like Chris Pratt is Mario.
Right.
No, does you understand, like them
No, I get
in a
it.
period piece sounds like a parody. So and a hard sell, and I understand why people didn't show up in the theater to see it, because it seems silly.
And then its actual subject matter is about a super serious thing that a lot of people aren't going to be like, yeah, I want to take it for the sexual assault movie. There's a lot. Yeah, I understand it not being a hit as well. And also I had my own skepticism about, Affleck and Damon, very contemporary guys. When they do period pieces, it's often very hard to see them in that. I think they both do a good job here. By the way, it should be said that Affleck plays a count who is, basically everyone answers to in the movie, and Damon literally has to like kneel before. So even though he's a supporting role, there is a funny thing of like, him playing this guy that Damon has to, be subservient to, and might not enjoy doing that.
Does anyone ask anyone if they like pomme?
No, that never happens.
Which is French for apples. And then when they say yes, they say, well, I got her, I don't know what the equivalent of 1,300.
See where you're going with this. That doesn't happen, and nor is there any writing on chalkboards in this movie or sitting on benches having meaningful moments. But it's great, and everyone's great in it. Affleck's a lot of fun, has kind of a character that's meant to be fairly comical. I thought Damon did a really good job, even though, yes, there's always going to be something a little bit contemporary, and him and Affleck both have that contemporary thing, but I think Damon does a really good job. Driver's great. But it's Jodie Comer, who I'm like, I hope she gets an Oscar nomination. And even though this movie was a bomb, I think she still has a shot. It's that much of a great performance. I have never seen Killing Eve, so the first thing I ever saw her in was Free Guy, which she's very charming in. I just saw Free Guy a couple weeks ago. That's why I couldn't record on that particular Wednesday night, because Ash wanted to go see the Free Guy. So I saw that. But she's fine in that movie. Like she's not the gimmick of that movie is the star of the movie. But Killing Eve, she's magnificent on. I have not watched past season 2 of that show, but I enjoyed season 1 and 2. 1 more than 2, but like it's
obviously a much better showing. So I'm glad to hear that she's making some waves with this one. Hopefully,
she's terrific. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I kept hearing how great she is in Killing Eve, but this is the first time the second movie I saw her in, the first that wasn't a silly comedy, and I was really, really impressed by her. I thought she was excellent. So, like I said, it is currently in theaters, but rapidly leaving them. So you can hunt it down in theaters, but I would guess within the next 3 weeks or so, it might be available on digital, if not 3 weeks soon. So.
Eric, this podcast is going to be 2 hours again because we just now started. Oh, God damn. All right. All right, everyone. Spider-Man 2, full spoilers for Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, Eric. I was working at Pacific Theaters Winnetka 21 when this movie came out. Very strong memories of seeing it, of how I felt, much like I talked about last week with Spider-Man.
Ordinary.
Thank you. Because this movie doesn't have a hero song like the first one. It's got a bunch of songs.
Yeah. But
the one that's the hero for me is the train song. But
and it's the one that had the music video. It was meant to be. Yeah.
Wait, Dashboard Confessional didn't have a music video for this?
Not that I remember.
I feel like they did, but Train definitely did, with the movie clips cut in and everything. Yeah. And they had the song like the Chad Kroeger song from the first movie. That's kind of also about the movie. The lyrics are now, looking back, insufferable. This is a song I still, to this day, put on in my car and sing very loudly.
I think it's very catchy.
At karaoke. The Train song "Ordinary" is amazing. It's also,
they even got a band called Train to do it, Matt. They were being so on point with their film.
Well,
because the movie has clips of the train from the movie, and then they cut in a train behind the band Train to make it look like it's the train from the movie. There's so much train involved.
I mean, you're doing a lot of train spotting here for all of us.
Right.
But little do you know that, when they have, when Mary Jane and Peter have that meet at the cafe at the end, MJ is drinking the best soy latte that she ever had. So that's the train connection. Let's see. That was a Drops of Jupiter joke, everyone. Keep up. So the Spider-Man 2 was regarded at the time by me and many others as the best superhero movie ever made,
and for many years, I'd say.
It took a lot.
The Dark Knight was the first time I think that really started to.
It took Dark Knight to dethrone Spider-Man 2 as the best movie ever made, along with Spider-Man 2's minor flaws and quibbles. It was at the time the best superhero movie ever made. People, and I wouldn't argue with anyone, could say that now, and I wouldn't put up a fight. I'm just saying, it is a strong outing for old Webhead. And Tobey Maguire almost didn't come back because he had a back injury that was pre-existing but was exacerbated by filming Seabiscuit.
But I do want to say, I was thinking about this today. It at the time it was reported
it was a power play.
Yes, it was more reported that yes, he had a back injury, but the belief was he was trying to get more money, trying to kind of exert himself, and that them hiring or saying we are going to hire Jake Gyllenhaal was Sony calling his bluff and being and that it worked because obviously he's like, okay, I can film,
and yet he still got 17 million.
Right.
So I don't know what he could have gotten, if they balked, but who knows? But yeah, that's where they used Jake Gyllenhaal as a Gyllen pawn and brought him in as we're going to replace him. So yeah, we were a little bit on the edge of our seats, being they're going to recast Spider-Man.
Right.
So yeah, best superhero movie of all time. Obviously there wasn't a deep catalog to compete with, but this movie just, hit all the right notes at the right time for everyone involved. And it had an interesting reimagining of Doc Ock that worked really well. Now we're talking about Green Goblin from the first movie. More traditional take on Green Goblin, although it wasn't pulled from any one thing. It was still Norman Osborn takes the formula, goes mad, gets on a glider, terrorizes Spider-Man. Doc Ock in this, was this particular Doc Ock, you tell me, Eric, was pulled from any particular iteration from the comic as far as he's controlled, he's a good guy, but then literally because the inhibitor chip is broken, he's controlled by the AI inside his tentacles, which is only programmed to build that stupid fusion reactor.
Not to this specific nature. I mean, yes, in the comics, he was just a normal, perhaps kind-hearted scientist until the accident, but there wasn't that much more depth to him than this. This very quickly, because it's really only through a couple of scenes, but definitely infuses him with a lot more specifics about who he is as a person before that happens. And I think did add the thing about the arms controlling him, like literally being almost like sentient AI.
So we get another version of the Green Goblin in the first movie, which was like, even by the end, the Goblin persona had more or less taken over Norman.
Right.
But there was still a good guy inside. He's like, don't tell Harry. That was sort of Norman at the end coming through. So again, it's a good guy being enshrouded, being sort of covered by a bad persona. Like Otto Octavius is not a bad person, though. Again, like Norman in the first movie, before the tentacles take control of his mind, he is still refusing to shut off that machine when it goes haywire.
Right.
Like it takes a few times, and like Spider-Man literally has to force him to try to turn it off because he won't do it, even as like people are being like,
it'll stabilize.
Yeah, like, so yeah, he's off his rocker a little bit too, and that seems to be the take on all scientists in this series. But yeah, so the MJ Peter stuff, the more we dissect it, the more distance we get from it now in 2021. Still feels weird, especially coming off the last movie. I would say even weirder now that these people are kind of adults. But we still get the same mix of goofy and serious, silly and chaste, and old-timey mixed with really cool stuff that Raimi was able to pull off. That I don't know, that didn't work in the third movie. The moments he tried it, certainly didn't.
No, and this movie, it's interesting because this movie, and maybe one of the reasons it's embraced so much, even more than the first one, and people love the first one, is it's more outwardly goofy. Like it's like when that raindrops keep falling on my head sequence and the freeze frame, it is very like, look, we know we're doing something campy here in a way that the audience was like, this is super fun. And yes, it's fascinating. And we'll talk obviously next week about the fact that Spider-Man 3 then also has some parts that are outwardly campy that were rejected. Like it's a fine line, and this movie nails it.
But here's the thing. Maybe it's because in the 3 years that sentiment went away. Maybe just people's attitudes changed. Also, maybe because Spider-Man 3 just decided that Peter Parker was an ultimate tool from the get-go, like, and that like he was just supposed to be unlikable from roll credits. I don't know. But so this movie, it's sometime apart. It's literally, we know it's 2 years after Uncle Ben died. So right. I don't know how many months. Maybe it's like 9 months after the last movie.
I feel like it's a year.
Like maybe. A good year.
Yeah.
Peter has basically not talked to Harry or MJ, which is weird. Again, think of a time before cell phones and texts. Obviously there were cell phones. They weren't as prevalent. Smartphones were not a thing. So you could ghost somebody for real, like just by not being in their lives. It wasn't like a lack of communication. It was just like not answering people's phone message. Like Harry would leave messages and calls. And so the first time we see them in this, or he sees them after a long time, is when Aunt May invites them to his birthday thing. This movie, just talking from the goofy aspect of the movie, it takes a while in this movie before we get to our first serious action sequence, because the first bit of web slinging we see in this movie is a fun, entertaining, silly thing of Peter trying to deliver pizza.
Yeah. And guess what? I still laughed at that. Whoa, he stole that guy's pizza.
Because that dude gives a great line delivery. Right. It's funny. He says it in a way that's just really funny.
Yeah.
It starts, Peter's narrating again. Now, MJ, by the way, what a difference a year makes. Having never gone to any formal acting school or had any training.
Working as a waitress, last we saw her.
She was a diner waitress who like was short on her on her drawer. And Peter Parker was going to buy her a hamburger with $7. Now she is not only acting in The Importance of Being Earnest, maybe on Broadway.
I think so.
She's also a model. She's like those perfume ads that are all over everywhere, like on buses and billboards. And it opens with Peter saying, "If only she knows how I felt about her." And I'm like, she knows. Doesn't she know? Didn't she throw herself at him at the fucking graveyard when we last saw them? And he's like, oh, this star-crossed romance. What can I do about it? Anyway, that's the whole movie, by the way, is the whole movie is them being in love with each other and me not knowing why, because they don't know each other and they don't speak to each other. So after having 3 conversations with her in his entire life last movie, okay, 4 because of the graveyard rejection. Now he hasn't seen her in a year, but somehow they still hold these torches for each other. And I know we're not supposed to like John Jameson, and because, you know, he's getting in.
I actually think we are supposed to. I was thinking about how John Jameson reminds me a lot of, I'm forgetting the character's name now, but he seems like the prototype for James Marsden in Superman Returns.
No. Or as they referred to
White.
it, as they referred to the character in the movie The Baxter, it's the Baxter. The Baxter is the character that Bill Pullman plays in Seattle. It's the perfectly nice guy that the girl or like the guy chooses the main character. The girl chooses the main character over this other guy, even though it's the worst decision.
But they didn't make him. He's definitely not written to be like an asshole.
No, not at all. Like what did he see Mary Jane's play like 5 times or something? Like, and the whole point. My point is that Peter and MJ have no relationship,
right?
But they desperately love each other for some reason. Meanwhile, she's with John Jameson, and as far as we know, Eric, I'm not even saying that they've had sex, because they have, but they've also gone on dates and had conversations and know each other and like met each other's families and like had an actual intimate interactions for a long period of time that would lead us to believe that a marriage was something.
They've hung out.
Yeah, they actually know more about each other than just a few conversations. Okay. Pete's riding a scooter. He works for Joe's Pizza. This is still, I don't even know in 2004 if getting a free pizza if it's not there in a half hour was still a thing, because they did eliminate that across the board. Us growing up, it was a big thing for pizza parlors to say if you don't get it in 30 minutes, it's free. But then the pizza delivery people, like Peter Parker, were driving very irresponsibly and getting into accidents. But maybe this was just Joe's Pizza's own like thing going on. Like
how good is this pizza place that in New York a company that's 40 blocks away orders it when there's so many options for pizza in New York?
I know, and here's the deal. Pizza Yurt is on their ass. They're competing with a place called Pizza Yurt, and this company ordered how many large deep dish, I guess, pies. The pizza was not deep dish, by the way, because we saw a slice of it, and that was not deep dish. Sorry to think that Mr. Aziz is disappointing his customers. If somebody told, I don't know why Peter needs this job so desperately, like because I feel like he can get a shit job anywhere if it's a shit job. But if someone's like, you have to go 40 blocks in 7 minutes, I would have torn the sticker off myself and just put it.
Yeah, fuck you. What the hell are you talking about?
That's ridiculous. It's terrible.
You're a terrible person for even suggesting that. Also, it's weird that they are like, if you don't get it there in under 30 minutes, we lose our money, but also we'll lose them as customers. I'm like, why would they lose them as customers? Unless they were like horribly late, which he's not. He's like 2 minutes late. We're like, hey, we got a free pizza and we like this pizza. So why wouldn't you keep ordering from them?
I'll tell you why he's going to lose them as customers, because that was not deep dish. That was his fault.
That's true.
And he knows he
sabotaged himself is what I'm saying.
I'm saying who's the real villain in this, Mr. Aziz or Dr. Octopus? Okay, then we get a fun cameo by a pre-Bones Emily Deschanel, playing a very
doing plays with my mom, Emily Deschanel.
Pre-Carol Goldman, Emily Deschanel.
She probably was. My mom probably already knew her at this point, but
sister of Zoe Deschanel. Both of them daughters of big-time Caleb Deschanel.
That's right.
And
Deschanel Dynasty.
We check in quickly with the Daily Bugle. He gives him a picture of Spider-Man, even though he really wants J. Jonah Jameson to put on the front cover of the Bugle a picture of people playing chess. J.K. Simmons is still amazing. Then
there's still tiny bit of Betty Peter flirtation that feels like they're like, what if we want to go there one day? But they don't go there.
Spoiler, they don't. Then we get kind of the emotional crux of the movie up front, which is that Peter's still late. He lost his job. He looks tired all the time. He's late for class. Again, no one used their phone for watches, and I guess Peter just doesn't look at his because he shows up. And not only was he late for class, he missed the class. Like the class was over, which is weird. So we get Dylan Baker playing Kurt Connors in a lizard character that never came to fruition. Yep. But he is the Kurt Connors.
But he had to put up with years of people like us saying, when are you going to play the lizard? Are you excited to play the lizard? Sorry, Dylan. You're not going to play the lizard.
Oh, man. What if he's the lizard in No Way Home?
Oh, that would actually be great.
That would be great. That would be an amazing callback. Okay, so I don't know what, because the line in the first movie about him losing his job with Dr. Connors may have been a throwaway, but I'm trying to think how it would fit in here. Maybe he worked for him.
I think we have the same problem. Both the Easter eggs in the first one don't really work with what happens later, because I think they say Eddie can't get a photo of him, but then Eddie's hired in the third one, or they're like, Eddie's a recent hire. So, you Easter egg things, then later on you actually put them in and you don't quite make it.
Yeah, maybe it was a different Eddie Spaghetti.
Maybe there's another Dr. Connors. Who knows?
Yeah, Dr. Kurt Connors, but with a K.
Right.
Instead of a C. Okay. Okay, so then we get to Aunt May's, and this is when we find Harry and MJ, and neither of them have seen Peter in a minute, and it seems like the most boring, cold birthday party ever, even though they're all supposed to be three best friends. And Harry's still shitty about, Peter taking...
Harry's intense.
He's intense, and the movie does the thing that kind of drives me a little crazy, but it's fine, which is like, how does the conversation end? This happens on TV too, obviously, which is like they get into it and he's like, if you knew who he was, would you even tell me who he is? And he's like, Harry, can we not do this? And then Harry just sort of walks to the side, and then it cuts to later. And I'm like, what happened? What was, how did they end that chat?
This is Lost people joked about this too, when people would like ask an intense question and the scene would end and we don't really know where it went after that. It's like they're just staring at each other.
Like does every other character just treat it as a hypothetical and not answer it at all? I don't know.
Right.
And so, I had a thought in my head, but now it's totally leaked out of my ear. Peter, Harry's still upset about Spider-Man. Yeah, I think I probably said it. And then
May talks about what she would do if she faced the person responsible for Ben's death.
Well, and Peter sees the foreclosure notice, and then May tearfully gives him a $20 bill, forcing him to take it. Little does she know that Mr. Ditkovich takes it right out of his hand.
But we get the introduction of my beloved Ursula Ditkovich.
The more you watch this movie, the more you're just upset that he, like, when she offers him cake and milk, that he just doesn't start dating her.
I know, just make out. Come on, like every day. Clearly is into it, and she's so sweet. Besides, yes, it's obviously their names are a nod to Steve Ditko. But Ursula, there's a cult of Ursula. I'm always glad when people tweet about her and joke, but not that she should be in No Way Home when they bring all these characters in.
Oh, but she's the one that Peter's married to.
There you go.
There's so many chances for like strange minor redemptions in No Way Home that won't happen. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. This is my thought. I just remembered. Okay. He's earning some money, most of his money, I assume, selling pictures of Spider-Man to the Bugle. Does it say photos by Peter Parker? Like, why does he tell people, like, who knows he's taking pictures of Spider-Man? How did that get out? And why did Peter think it's a good idea to let people know that he's the one who can somehow get up close to?
I mean, I would think I presume it would say, and you're right, they should probably have accounted for that by having him say, "Don't credit me," because otherwise, you'd think his name would be.
Otherwise, when anyone wants to get a hold of Spider-Man, they're going to find me. Right. And then Harry's going to be mad at me too. Okay. So then he talks to MJ after taking the 20, and she tells him she's got a boyfriend. And then he says, "I'm going to see your play." She's like, "Don't disappoint me." Little does he know, everything is riding on whether or not he shows up to this stupid.
I will say, again, we do the jump around thing. It's funny. She's so dramatic with the "don't disappoint me" thing. Although later on in the movie, I think it's a little more justified when she kind of goes off on him and says how everyone's come to see this play except you, and include like John's seen it 5 times, Harry's seen it twice, Aunt May came to see it, and I am like, you know what, Peter? You are a fucking asshole.
He is. He's horrible.
If this play has been going on long enough that all these people have been able to go see it, I understand you're Spider-Man, but you can one night go see her goddamn play. Like, come on, Peter.
Like, every time he is a bad friend. He is bad. You feel bad, and that's why it is more insane. He's delusional. So I more understand why he thinks he loves MJ.
Sure.
Because he thought she was an angel, Eric, and he imagined her getting married on a hilltop for whatever fucking reason. And her liking him, though, because he is such a grade A shitbird most of the time, and this gets amplified in the third movie to the point where, like, he stops being someone you root for. That, like, her loving him, because at first it was just like, I have a crush on Spider-Man, the mysterious hero who keeps saving me. But then it becomes more of, and again, we spoke last week about how this movie, she should still, and at the end she says, "I've always known."
Yeah.
But she should really know. Like, she should know in this movie, the background noise of this movie should be that she knows he's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason she just likes stupid Peter Parker, who knows nothing about her and she knows nothing about. She probably gets more information about Peter from Aunt May than Peter. Anyway, he's a bad friend. Okay. Mr. Ditkovich, very funny. He's always yelling rent, even when he's shitting. They've got, actually, at first I was like, Peter, for a New York apartment, it's not terrible for a studio gig. But then that shared bathroom, I was like, ugh, okay. With those big Ditkovich shits. And then
shits, they call them.
Big Shitkovich. And then
Ursula Peter calls it by this.
Ursula's so sweet. The moment when she, like, burns her hand on the ladle and starts a fire and he closes the door. Very funny. Okay. Yes. Then we've got the meeting of Dr. Octavius, and I've heard about you, Peter. Brilliant but lazy. Harry's like, Nobel Prize. And
Harry keeps lording it over him that he's funding him.
Yeah, and once again, Oscorp has all its eggs in one basket when it should be doing a bunch of different projects, but everything's riding on Otto Octavius once again. Crazy scientist, just in control of the fate of Oscorp. Because it's not long before Harry's like, I'm ruined.
But yes, they do show, you even talked about it, it's like Norman Osborn was maybe not a bad guy, but he still seems like he had some shittiness about him. Otto's introduced as a very nice guy. He's very kind to Peter, connects with him, and really wants to help mankind. Like, Norman wanted his company to do well, and wanted to be number one.
Yeah, but Norman was also making weapons for the military.
And was making weapons. Otto has a whole philosophy about intelligence is a gift and you use it for the good of mankind.
Which is a different spin. It's similar to with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So Otto becomes somewhat of a shadow of a facsimile of Uncle Ben in this movie with his messaging, and also at the same time, with one line, explains the part of this movie that could have been the most divisive, and maybe it still is, the Spider-Man losing his powers because he's sad,
right?
Which should not work. Like that raindrops montage, Eric, should not work, but still does.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, we're still caught up in it. We go with it. That because, in part, Otto says, if you keep something as complicated as love inside you, it'll make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all we kind of needed. We were already going along with this movie. We loved it, to believe that Spider-Man could just somehow lose his powers. Could something biologically happens within Spider-Man that blocks all of the abilities that spider bite gave him.
Right.
It just works. I don't know. I can't explain it.
It does work.
I just tried to, but I don't think I fully explained it.
It does work. It is funny to me. It seems the strangest thing to me is that he also like loses his eyesight. Like it's like literally.
No, that's what I mean. Like all the powers. Yeah.
Yeah. Like everything goes, but it does work. It's a funny. It's become a little bit of a trope in superhero movies that in the second one, they lose their power. Superman, Wonder Woman now has done it. It's just a thing you do. But it does work here. And also it's like about a half hour of the movie, but it's not so much of the movie that it's like, and it builds to that point, right? It builds to this like being Spider-Man is ruining his life. So there's psychologally he wants it.
First we get like his webs don't work and he falls and then he has to take the elevator down with Hal Sparks. And then it builds and builds until he's got nothing.
Hal Sparks, the first of two Talk Soup / The Soup hosts in this movie.
That's right. The other being Joel McHale as the bank manager, loan officer, who won't even give May a free toaster. That's another sort of throwback to things that I don't think existed in 2004, being a free toaster with an account. I think that was like something that stuck around from the 60s and 70s that Raimi liked.
Right.
Okay. Where are we at? Brilliant but lazy. He talks about his. He has dinner with the dude, or he's dinner, or just a late supper. I don't know what's happening.
And his wife,
he's like feed her poetry. Yeah, Rosie gets to speak, and okay. So then he's actually going to the play, and he doesn't make it there because there's a big police chase, and he gets caught up in the first big Spidey action moment of the movie where he saves people and stops the robbers. And
we get a prominent line from future Parenthood TV show star. She's been a bunch of things, Joy Bryant, when she goes, "Go Spidey, go!"
The moment when the cop car's flying, but it stops because it's caught in a web, is really cool looking.
Yep.
And all of this makes Peter late to the play. And we get Bruce Campbell back in a different role.
Very funny. Making a meal out of the... it's a very funny part as far as how he's so helpful with tie your shoes and your tie, make sure your tie is straight, and then won't let him into the goddamn play.
It's great. Like, I remember laughing my ass off. Very good stuff. And... MJ sees that the seat is empty. It throws her off. She's also thrown off when he's in the seat. So who knows? Like, she's always thrown off by Peter.
She has river painting spells.
Forgets her lines and just vomits on stage. And that's when, and then when he's kicked out of the play, that's when his powers start to stop working.
Mm-hmm.
Then he tries to call her from a payphone. She won't answer. Old era of answering machines. But then once his time runs out and he's talking to no one, he actually does confess everything to no one on the other end. And I don't know, fun. It's a good moment. I think it's also for the benefit of the audience, where Peter gets to actually say all the things that are subtext. Mm-hmm. Just like, if you got hurt, I can never forgive myself. As long as I have enemies, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then we get to the actual disaster and creation of Dr. Octopus with
Fire Lord Daniel Day Kim.
Daniel Day Kim,
one of the lab guys,
is one of the button pushers who works for Otto. It all goes wrong. We don't know why. It's just science stuff. He miscalculated, whatever. What I will say about this is that,
well, Peter, they do set it up with Peter being like, well, if you did, well, aren't you worried that if you do this will happen? So Peter could foresee this problem.
I laugh at, okay, so Otto opens it with a dumb joke about, has anyone lost a roll of $20 bills in a rubber band? I found the rubber band. I laugh at that because it cuts to Peter, and Peter thinks it's the funniest fucking thing he's ever heard in his life.
That is funny because it's supposed to be about jokes. So I appreciate that.
This is what I have to say about Otto's big experiment. He also uses this moment. He's like, hey, look, I can make a miniature sun. And it's,
but guess what?
But guess what I also have made? I have created an AI that I have inserted into these tentacles that I now will insert into my fucking spine, and I will control with my mind. And this feels like a much bigger invention than his little ball of fire.
I don't know if it's a bigger invention, but it deserved its own press conference. That's what
I was going to say, like, he's going to revolutionize, like, artificial limbs. Like, he's not lending this out. He literally only made this so that he could touch the fireball. Like, every amputee out there would benefit from this, except he's like, look, I'm an octopus. So, all right. Okay, everything goes wrong. Poor Rosie. Very cool stylized shot of the glass going at her, and we see the reflection.
Yep, and one of the times where, as we talked about last week, this movie definitely evokes Raimi's horror past while being a PG-13 Spider-Man superhero movie, but like her death is really cool, stylized, and without being graphic, you still get the idea. There's like squishy sound effects. So when it like hits her, even though we don't see the glass hit her, so just kind of a fun way he does that.
All of this leads into the extremely Evil Dead scene that takes place right after it, which
100%, yeah,
his tentacles murdering the doctors in the room in an extended scene, which they could have just hinted at and cut away from. Mm-hmm. But oh no! Not only do you see him like go through each of the doctors in his own way, and the shrieks of horror and the things coming off, very sudden and very horror movie like, but we get a full Evil Dead callback by one of them is actually gets the spotlight for a brief moment as the hero with the chainsaw, albeit a mini chainsaw, but still very Ash-like. And the fingernails on somehow, like, it makes no sense, but it's like very
great.
Dead.
Great.
Like tearing through linoleum, like
And because Evil Dead, he's known for, you know, the point of view shots of the Evil Dead, and here it's point of view shots of the arms, which granted have cameras in them, so it's a little bit story driven, but mostly Raimi driven to show, like, you know, the point of view of the tentacles like coming out.
But it also sets up the tentacles more because they're about to control Otto as an actual thinking entity. Like he's out cold, and
that's a really cool, effective, like horror movie visual in the middle of this movie of him like with his eyes covered, laying there prone as the arms are doing all this stuff.
All right, then we get and
by the way, he does a full which most people will think of Vader in Revenge of the Sith, which
you got to think of Ash,
We think of Ash, but also the fact that the thing about the no, and we can, you know, of course, it has been, you know, made fun of and criticized, and why is it even in there? Well, it's in there for the same reason. Whether it's the right call or not is the question in Revenge of the Sith, I mean. But it's in Revenge of the Sith for the same reason Raimi has it here, which is it's a very old school thing, because Lucas likes old things like Raimi, likes melodrama, likes these serials, you know, and things. So having a character literally go no is in being used in the same spirit by both those guys.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And when Ash used it is the same way too. Okay, so then let's cut to Peter's big bad night, which is the honor ceremony for John Jameson at the planetarium that he has hired to take pictures of. And not only is he confronted by a drunk Harry there who fucking smacks him in the face in front of everybody, but finally has it out with MJ, who calls him out for being a terrible friend. And Oh wait, I skipped over stuff, but we'll just go back to it. We skipped over the bank scene, but then also right then, and it's announced that MJ is going to marry John, and we can understand that even though we think she loves John, maybe she did say yes in that moment because she was also so done with Peter.
Yes,
so that's sort of hinted at, even though there's nothing to make us think that she's doubting her relationship with John at this point, who seems like a nice guy, and they actually have a loving, intimate relationship. Okay.
And by the way, I just want to mention, because I was a big Vampire Diaries fan, Vampire Diaries fans and the originals fans will recognize Daniel Gillis, who was on the Vampire Diaries and then got a spinoff with the originals, has John Jameson. But on Vampire Diaries, he once smacked someone's head clean off. Anyway.
Oh, like Jason.
Yes.
In Jason Takes Manhattan. Okay. John Jameson is from the comics, is an astronaut, almost as an Easter egg, because it doesn't really pay off here except that he's being honored. But he's actually, he comes back from space as a werewolf. But
and then he was used on the animated 90s Spider-Man animated series. They used him for Venom's origin because they didn't do it with the same way with the Secret Wars. So John Jameson goes to space. When he comes back, he has the symbiote attached to his ship. And it's interesting because John Jameson's not in Spider-Man 3, so they don't use that connection there. But the Venom movie named the lead astronaut, Jameson. They don't say his first name, so it's kind of a funny little through line there.
This is the one thing Sony did right. Okay. There was a whole first actual fight scene between Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus that I skipped over. It's when Aunt May's trying to get a loan at the bank because she's giving piano lessons now, even though she's not. It's actually an action sequence that incorporates Aunt May into it.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say about this, it's fun. Dr. Octopus throws bags of like Scrooge McDuck gold coins at Peter. Peter also...
Aunt May hits him with her umbrella.
Yeah,
saves Spider-Man.
But when Spider-Man saves Aunt May from almost falling to her death, like 60 stories or some shit, he still woos like when he swings. He can't help it. These inappropriate woos all the time.
Here's the thing: if you've played the video game, it's pretty cool.
It is. I mean, like it's like him and Ric Flair, just inappropriate wooing. What I'll say about that too is that he has this confrontation with Dr. Octopus. There's a funny scene where J. Jonah Jameson likes to think he came up with the name Doc Ock, but
he also throws out the name Doctor Strange.
But it's taken again.
Yes,
Easter egg never pays off. Just fun. Okay. The rest of this movie, we don't really even get a sense in the moment where Peter's like, "Oh shit, Otto Octavius is alive and he's evil, and now he's a tentacle monster."
Yeah, yeah.
There's none of that. There's none like, "Dr. Octavius, what are you doing?" Like, no, it's me. Like, oh, he's not gonna say it's me, but like, he's like, it's like you're not a bad person. What's happening here? And then he's like, "Oh, maybe it's the tentacles controlling." And then afterwards, he's like, "Man, that sucks that Dr. Octavius is bad now. I should do something about that." He doesn't go looking for him. Nothing happens after this fight. After this guy was like such a warm, brief mentor for him, he's just like, "Oh well, that's life in New York City."
That's life if you work for Oscorp.
All right. Okay. Now, after the planetarium night.
Oh, and Stan Lee saves someone else. We didn't mention Stan Lee's cameo in the first one.
That's a very, very quick cameo as a bystander. Saves someone from falling rubble.
Just like and he saved a kid in the first Spider-Man movie. So he's Stan saves.
Excelsior. There's a really cool moment after he's like, "I've lost Harry and I've lost MJ. Even though I purposely didn't speak to them for the year. Now I'm mad that I lost them." He's like, "Hey, this sucks. Being Spider-Man sucks. Everything sucks about my life. Why can't I have what I want?" This is also the lyrics of the Train song. Everybody's getting what they need. Why not? Where's mine?
No.
Where's mine? Where's mine? Okay. So he goes inside a little bit. We get a really fun sort of stylized inner dialogue between him and Uncle Ben, where he's like, "I can't do what you asked me anymore. I can't be with you. I can't partner with you on this. It's effective. It works. It's sad." sort of saying goodbye to Uncle Ben a second time.
Yep, it literally gets in the storyline that some of this is taken from, which is Amazing Spider-Man number 50, which was called Spider-Man No More, which was when Peter felt Spider-Man was ruining his life and threw the costume in the trash can. He literally says on Spider-Man No More, and we get a direct visual homage to that cover of him walking away from the Spider-Man costume in the trash can.
And then the Bugle hammers it home once more by writing Spider-Man No More as the headline. And let's see. Okay, then we've already talked about it. The raindrops keep falling on my head montage that works Peter's life.
I remember a moment I just remember killing with the audience.
It's great. And we're able to enjoy it because we're happy for Peter and here's the deal. At this point, Harry hates him for bad reasons that he can't correct him on. MJ, who we all agree he doesn't really know that well, is done with him. And we was like, hey, you should kind of be done with her too, because you don't know her well either. Meanwhile, Ursula is making you chocolate cake and milk. I would lose the milk part because drinking a cup of milk. But I'm just saying,
I'm pro milk with the chocolate cake. I'd do it.
I'm just saying that he look again. Everything's working for him. He's doing well in school. He feels good about himself. Girls are noticing him just from behind. By the way, walking down the street. Maybe they just noticed that confident strut.
Maguire does a very funny stuffing a hot dog in his face as he watches the.
They zoom past him. He eats half the hot dog in one bite. It's great, just like a huge chomp. And so it's like at that point, it's like, yeah, this is a fork in the road. Maybe you should take Ursula out for a $7 cheeseburger. You know what I mean? But instead he goes back to his miserable life. Because of another building fire. It's so weird to have two. Eric,
I agree.
I never once saw a burning building in New York growing up.
Well,
all those years.
Look, Matt, I never saw a rat until that one time we were near for SummerSlam and we saw two. So, maybe we were always just 2 blocks away from burning buildings.
That's not fair. I've seen plenty of rats.
Right.
Okay, it's just weird that the same franchise uses the same gimmick twice. As far as he's got to save another child, a baby or a kid or whatever. But he doesn't save the poor soul on the 4th floor. Eric didn't.
The poor soul on the 4th floor, which is melodramatic because Raimi likes to do that, but is a nice beat. I feel as far as the you can't save everyone little thing there of yes, he did the right thing because he was ignoring other stuff happening, decides to run into the building, even though he doesn't have powers at that point, saves his kid, but then learns that, guess what? There was someone else. So yeah, you just can't save them all, Peter.
And you know what? He also, most notably, he walks past an actual in front of his eyes mugging.
Yes.
Which is not hey, those cops will handle this. I don't need to chase after the cop cars. This is this guy is going to actually get mugged and beaten.
Possibly murdered.
So then he has to go and ruin everything by telling Aunt May the truth.
Minus that he's Spider-Man, but yeah.
Look, I get why he did it. They put it into the story that she blamed herself. So he felt like he should assuage her guilt,
right,
and take the heat himself. He goes into full detail, though. Again, not Spider-Man, but hey, and then I wanted a car, so I went to the thing, and then the guy got robbed, and then the thing, the fact that it wasn't also paired with actual flashback imagery was it felt like that it should have been a thing because it was so lengthy. But yeah, and she treats him like shit too. So yeah, loses her briefly.
I am Aunt May no more.
I am Aunt May no more. Oh
God. No more.
I would lose this Aunt May, by the way.
I'm up 75% without Spider-Man. So holy shit. I guess maybe he did have an excuse for missing Mary Jane's play. If he was stopping that much crime, just think about if this universe had the Avengers. If just Spider-Man is stopping that much crime.
I mean, that's overkill. That's why he was late to everything, because he stopped. Right. I mean, you played the new Sony Spider-Man game. There's crime every
there's a lot of crime.
you're fighting Silver Sable's dudes. You're fighting fighting all there's like the Blackgate prison escapees constantly. Like everyone is just mowing down the streets with machine guns. Okay. So
and Aunt May is a villain because it turns out she threw out Peter's comic book collection.
That's terrible. By the way.
And she says those dreadful things.
She can go to hell, and Henry Jackson can go to hell too, because Henry Jackson's like, where's Spider-Man? And so like Aunt May, who in this moment when Peter returns to her and she's selling all her shit, this is where she hints that she kind of knows he's Spider-Man, because she's like, Henry Jackson looks up to Spider-Man, and Henry Jackson's sad, so maybe someone should give up their dreams again. Peter, you're doing so well. May I introduce you to sad Henry Jackson, who all he wants to do is die with pride. What is the speech she gives him?
I do want to mention the more direct, because it actually happens in like 2 scenes. Someone knows is Robbie Robertson, and I really like that's straight from the comics. Like in the comics, Robbie is like the smartest guy at the Bugle, and it's heavily hinted, though never explicitly said, that he's figured it out, and he kind of covers for Peter.
So Robbie always gives these meaningful looks. So looks out the window with hope. It's like he's as the secret Spidey stand in the office.
Right.
All right. Okay. So here's the deal. Doc Ock finishes his thing.
Oh, and I laughed a lot at I'm back, my back.
That was great. Peter's like, hey,
and again, it's also a reference to Tobey Maguire's real life back stuff. So it works on multiple levels.
That's all we want, things working on multiple levels.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Ock needs tritium. Tritium, yes. So he goes to Harry. Harry's now ruined. All he's got is Spider-Man, and I'll find you. How is he? We have no clue how he's trying to find Spider-Man, by the way. He's just yelling at headlines constantly. He shows up, needs tritium. He's like, I'll give you tritium if you give me Spider-Man. How do I find Spider-Man? Peter Parker gives up his best friend. So piece of shit. Anyway, but then they try to redeem Harry right in the moment.
Don't hurt him.
Don't hurt Peter. What is the first thing Dr. Octopus does? Throws a fucking car at Peter
Through
Parker.
a window. Yeah.
Through a window at Peter Parker, not knowing he does not think he is Spider-Man.
Right.
He will tell him where Spider-Man is. He throws a car at Mary Jane and Peter Parker.
He won't tell him shit if he's killed by that car.
After Peter Parker, miraculously, as far as Otto Octavius knows, dodges this car, he then hurls him into a brick wall before making off with MJ. Again, something that would kill a person. Don't hurt Peter. So it's kind of a funny scene. You have to laugh when she's like, hey, I've been thinking about Peter. I tried kissing my boyfriend upside down and it sucked. So how about we meet for coffee and I once again tell you that I love you. And Peter has had another 180 turn. And he's like, because we skipped over the part where he tried to get her back. And she's like, how can we get on if we haven't cut off? Like all that stuff. Skipped over that. He made his play. She said no. Now she's making her play. He says no. It's funny, but it's saved because she's like, she doesn't accept it. She knows he's lying at this point. She's like, kiss me. But then the car goes through the window. And then we get
which is, by the way, is a great beat with the wheel going right over his face.
It's really great. That was they used that in the trailer, got us all psyched and amped for the movie. It was really cool. She's captured again. All right.
She's captured again, although she's much more like kind of standing up for herself this time. They at least try to kind of make her a little more forceful this time.
Light praise of this movie is this is only the first time she's been in danger and not the third. Like
right, they let Aunt May do the in danger stuff earlier, so it wouldn't have to be MJ again.
By the way, Aunt May is fine after all of that. After being like a 80-year-old woman,
well, she got her freaking umbrella. She saves her. She's like the Penguin. She saves herself with the umbrella. She saves Spider-Man with the umbrella by hitting Doc in the back of the head.
Yeah, she thanks the angel. Oh God! All right. Okay. Let's see. Spider-Man steals his costume back. A very funny moment with Jameson where he's like, Spider-Man was a hero. I couldn't see it. But big arc there, but then he turns right back around. He's a thief.
And a really fun, I love the Spider-Man is back or whatever it says headline that Spider-Man swings through the newspaper, like rips through the newspaper, swinging at you.
That's just more of sort of a surreal moment because I don't know when that headline could be compared to him literally going and immediately fighting Doctor Ock.
Right.
But okay, Doc Ock fight from the building to the train, highlight of the movie, the best fight of the movie, better than the final fight. This is a Hallmark landmark superhero fight.
It's amazing. It might be the best one we'd ever seen to that point. Just as far as using these two characters, what they can do, just so many great, clever bits. I love when Spider-Man goes into the train and he sticks to one of the poles. I love when he throws the Doc Ock is throwing people. Spider-Man's catching them, but throwing them again into webs he spins after he throws them. It's really, really fun and cool. And both of them are come off like gangbusters during this.
I agree. And then, it leads to, I don't know. I guess because Doc Ock is trying to actually knock Spider-Man out or get him so he can take him to Harry. But in the meanwhile, he's just given him a problem to solve, which is a runaway L train that Peter has to stop. It's a very effective scene. It leads to the very funny cross-eyed Tobey Maguire straining to stop the train face.
It's giving us a meme.
And it very much also it calls back to the first movie where the New Yorkers stand up for Spidey.
Yep.
They crowd surf him. They give him back his.
And this time it's very Jesus, very reverent,
very Jesus-like. Aunt May would approve. And then they give him back his mask. They're like, he's just a kid. And then they stand up for him. And then they're like, if you got to go through me. I like the delivery of that New Yorker who gets up. It's like, you want Spider-Man, you got to go through me. Because he's also scared when he says it. I like that. It's really cool. He's like, a little bit of a gulp. No,
that's a nice moment. The two little kids promise we'll keep your secret. No one else does. So they're like, fuck you. We're going to tell everyone.
And because they're from New York, the screenwriter had to put, I can't remember the screenwriter's name. He also co-wrote 3.
Alvin Sargent, who actually, I think, worked on the first one, uncredited as well.
Because they're from New York, they have to say, we won't tell nobody.
Yeah.
Like that's how you say that in New York. Okay. And they get squished up against the side of the train, though, pretty brutally. And then Peter gets knocked out. And then, right into the final fight with MJ off. I think it's off of a New Jersey dock or something that he's building this because he can.
First, Harry finds out, that Peter, he unmasks him to kill him.
He's pretty shocked, by the way. I think Peter should have at least been a suspect.
Yeah. Well, he could say he was lying to himself. I do like that as far as like Peter being like, there are bigger things than you and me, and that Harry in that moment, because when he learns Mary Jane has been taken, he at least can put it aside long enough for Peter to go help rescue.
Still, how long does it take Peter to say your dad was the Green Goblin? Like,
right. He's dying words for don't tell Harry, so he's sticking to that.
Oh God, I guess so. All right. Okay, final fight. He basically gets unmasked. Octavius gets shocked out of his mind control, but he still has to fight. Really cool scene where he's like, listen to me now. It's like yelling at his tentacles, and they do his bidding. He sort of sacrifices himself in a way that had this saga continued in a certain, they could have brought Doc Ock back. There's nothing necessarily at the end that tells you definitively that he died. You see him floating in the water, eyes open, but that's reversible. That's not Norman Osborn has an actual funeral. You know what I mean?
Right. There's room for him to have survived, and if Alfred Molina is to be believed, it might be quite literal in No Way Home as far as like seeing this Doc Ock like continue on from this point. You know,
I don't know how they explain that Goblin, but this Doc Ock we can explain away. MJ sees him unmasked. Big moment. I remember in the theater sitting there.
Great moment.
Finally. Yeah.
That's finally a great moment because he has such a dramatic one-on-one with Otto. And then you and they purposely make you forget that MJ is there.
Because she got knocked down. So you might think he's unconscious. Yeah.
So when he turns around and she's basically been watching his whole big heartfelt moment with Otto, great moment. Yeah.
And then he's like, this is why you and I can't be. And she seems to accept it, but then she doesn't accept it because she ditches John Jameson at the altar. Shit move. This movie
it's a shit move for sure that she doesn't talk to him. Like, don't just leave a note, man.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's just this movie is just MJ and Peter with shit moves the whole time.
They deserve each other.
But just like a great ending where she shows up in her wedding dress and she's like, let me choose. And then she's like, go get him, Tiger. And we were in the theater going, woo. And then
she says the thing. But then one of the most fascinating things, and it really struck me when I first saw it, and I love it now because it's an odd thing, but I love it. The final shot of the movie,
it's sad,
is her melancholy. Like she's watching him, but now she's not like cheering. She looks kind of sad, and it's a very interesting beat to leave off on.
Yeah, because in that moment she realizes I don't know this fucker at all. Like, and he doesn't know me, and I've made a huge mistake. No, it's also just like it both is her feeling confused and conflicted in that moment because she just made a big decision and like knowing the danger, knowing what she's getting into, and also the movie itself telling us that like this is also not. Like it's still a dangerous and unwise decision,
right.
There's actual reasoning and logic and wisdom behind why Peter was shunning her, and you'll find out why soon. Not necessarily because of what happens in 3, but just in general.
I think you mentioned in passing maybe, but I want to mention a little more Harry's final scene, which was another one. Again, it's like, This movie played like gangbusters, and I remember opening night, the thrill when he threw that knife and it shattered, and everyone quickly realized what was about to happen of him discovering the goblin stuff and that he's going to become the new goblin. It's funny. This movie came out a year after X2. Both movies end with this huge tease of something is going to happen from the comics, and we're so excited until the next movie, like totally
until we see what they do with it.
Yes, because people, we were so thrilled with him walking in there. And by the way, we get Dafoe. It's funny, Cliff Robertson. Everyone comes back in this movie, including Cliff Robertson and Willem Dafoe, even though they died in the last one. They both get to have kind of dreamlike appearances to their respective sons or son figures.
All right.
That's I was basically just saying the Harry thing's great. It's too bad Spider-Man 3 is Spider-Man 3. But it was such a exciting moment when it happened in 2004.
Agreed. I was not only on the edge of my seat, I was on the edge of the seat of the person next to me.
Yes.
What was that fucking quote?
I don't remember, but it was really funny. Oh, you know what? I just want to mention I didn't talk about it last week. Is just simultaneously we're watching these movies. I'm also reading the Marvel Studios book that just came out, like the giant big history of Marvel Studios book going through basically the Infinity Saga. And it's funny, when I was watching Spider-Man 1 last week, and to see in the closing credits buried in them like Marvel's consultant, or I can't remember his exact credit, Kevin Feige. And, because this book talks about it, and I knew this, but just to even get more in depth about the fact that Kevin Feige worked for the Donners, and that's why he worked on X-Men 1, because he was working in the Donner's office, and Lawrence Schuler Donner produced X-Men. And then he met Avi Arad, who was so impressed by him, he hired him away from the Donners. He goes to work for Marvel Studios, which is not making their own movies. They're, just, the consultants on these movies that other studios make. And so then he works on Spider-Man. He works on all 3 of them. And so just absolutely insane, his ascent. The fact that he's been there for this all. He's been there since X-Men. He was there for all the Spider-Man stuff. And gonna rise up, the Golden Boy. Just as I'm reading this book and seeing these movies, it's kind of a fun thing. So I can't remember what he's credited on this one too, but just an innocuous credit for a man who will go on to have some success.
And when the world is on its knees with me, it's fine.
Ordinary. The music video is on the special features, and you're damn right, I watched it.
I mean, it's a pathetic song. I mean, lyrically, because it's all just like, "Wow, what about me?" That's the whole song. But that's Peter Parker, right? So it fits. Great Train song. God, I mean, I said if they put now it's like I have this bizarre wish list for No Way Home, which includes things that'll never happen, like
Ursula.
hero playing or something like that. Yeah. But now I'm like, God, they got to get that train song in there now too. Like I'm just making this list ridiculous.
And if they don't do these things, you will hate the movie. The movie will have failed.
Yes, I will only see it 5 times.
Right. Spider-Man 2, by the way, I mentioned that it was very unusual at the time that it came out just 2 years after the first one for a sequel that wasn't like, being made, they weren't being filmed back to back. They weren't planned back to back. So a very quick turnaround that now has become more of the norm. It used to be like 3 years, but 2 years was pretty quick. And that it was so good and so beloved was the other thing, because we were still in an era where, you might get a great movie and then the sequel might be, we just talked about Matrix Reloaded, which was okay, but didn't deliver on the first one. Spider-Man 2, took the first one that everyone loved and built upon it so well. And we all were very thankful for it.
Man, what did it made like 40 million in its first day. This is 2004 money, by the way.
Oh yeah. It was a big deal. And like I said, I remember it being a very rapturous. Yeah, I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Audience experience, seeing it at Westwood, with like 1,000 people, and everyone was hyped. We got everything we wanted and more.
All right. Next week we'll get everything we didn't want and less. It's Spider-Man 3. Please join us for that, even though that's the movie. So, all right.
It has its moments.
Until then, everything is possible, but nothing is real. We enjoy No More and Shakma.
Ordinary Shakma.